Hi, I'm Vest Guy, and this is Vest Top 5. Today we're talking about the top 5 worst horror movies of the decade. There's so many bad horror movies out there, man. My God. And the worst part is I sat down and watched them. Some of them weren't as bad as I thought they would be, but some of them were, my God, why am I watching this shit? So people won't get confused. The movies that we're mentioning here are from 2010 to now, which is 2017. Unless this video is released sometime in 2056 because aliens abducted us. And anyway, from 2010 to 2017. So the worst horror movies of this decade so far. So number 5 is a movie that came out this year, 2017. I sat down in the theater. I wasn't expecting much, but my God, what a piece of fucking shit this movie was. And that movie is Alien Covenant. If you haven't seen Alien Covenant, oh, don't watch it. It's horrible. I sat down and I tried to enjoy this movie as much as I could. I couldn't. I really couldn't. I get that people, like Prometheus and they think this movie is a great follow-up. It just does not work for me. The reason why is because characters act like, what's the word I'm looking like for? Oh yeah, fucking morons! Everyone acts like a fucking moron in Alien Covenant. Why? Like, explain to me, if you're a scientist, explorer, missionary, whatever the fuck you are, if you're going to another planet, wouldn't you take something with you? What's that called? A fucking helmet? No one takes a helmet. Everyone walks out and, I guess we can breathe the air here, There's no pathogens or anything that's harming us, so we're fine. And that's what everyone does in this movie. They just walk around, and there's one character, fuck you, whatever the name of this character is, he walks out, and he lights up a cigarette, and he's like, I'm in a new planet, I'm smoking a cigarette. He doesn't say that, but then he just flicks a cigarette. He's polluting a planet. You're an explorer, and the first thing you're doing is polluting the planet. Fuck you, guy. So, the only good thing I gave about this movie is Michael Fassbender. Fassbender's a great actor. He plays this, godlike character. He's really, in love with the aliens. I don't know if he wants to fuck the aliens or do whatever he wants to do with them, but he's good in the movie. But everyone else is stupid. There's a scene where a character, he already knows that the character of David, played by Michael Fassbender, he already knows he's evil. So he says, look, I created this little facehugger here. Why don't you look at it? So he goes to look at it. Why would you do that? You already know he's a bad guy. Are you fucking stupid? So he goes and obviously gets... I was rooting for the alien throughout the whole fucking movie. This was so stupid. I wasted money watching this. And there's people out there, there's legitimately people out there who say, oh, this is a great movie. This is actually better than Prometheus. Fuck you, man. This movie's worse than Prometheus. And I get it. I'm angry right now. And you would say, how can this not be your number one? Because there's worse movies out there. Except for number 4. What can possibly top Alien Covenant in terms of shit? Well, like I said, if you like eating shit, then you're in the right video, because number 4 is Texas Chainsaw 3D. I don't know whose idea was it, but they decided to make another sequel to Texas Chainsaw, like there wasn't enough already. And this one ignores all the other ones before it, but it's a direct sequel to part 1. And somehow it takes place like in the 90s, but it looks like 2013. Okay, it's stupid, but I'm still getting the movie. So the whole story is that there's a character who inherits the house from the first one, or the fortune from the first one, and apparently everybody in this movie acts so retarded, and that's okay. And no one questions how everyone acts retarded in this movie. But the worst part about this movie is the fact that after Leatherface kills all the main character's friends, she's alive, she survives, and she somehow, in her mind, thinks that it's okay to befriend him at the end because she's about to get killed or raped by some other characters. So this is the famous line in this movie. She grabs the chainsaw, and she throws it, and she goes, quote, "Here you go, cuz!" She throws the chainsaw so she can kill the other people, and she befriends Leatherface. Fuck this movie! I saw it in 2013, and I paid full price to watch it. I hate it so much. Don't watch it. Avoid like the plague. So, number 3 we have Devil Inside. Now, I don't like found footage movies that much, but this is really like the worst of the worst. This movie was supposedly shot in Italy, Rome, or whatever. It doesn't matter where they shot this movie, because this movie blows hard. This movie is a waste of time. I remember there was a scene in this movie where a character I think she's the mother of the main character. She's like has a whole bunch of scratches all over herself, and she's going like, and you're trying to listen to, and the main character starts getting closer to her to listen to what she's saying, and you know she's gonna scream or do something weird. And guess what? She goes, ah! Obviously, you knew that was gonna happen. Why would you get close to a character who's going, and she looks crazy? I wouldn't get close to someone like that, especially if they're in an insane asylum. This movie has no ending. That's how bad this movie is. It abruptly ends, and it tells you to go to a website to figure out what happened to the characters. That's the biggest fuck you can do to an audience. Movie is so shitty. Avoid it like the plague. Number 2, there's a lot of great horror movies out there, and one of them was The Conjuring. The Conjuring was a great horror movie, very atmospheric. It used no gore. It used classic scares, no jump scares. Maybe 1 or 2 here, but it actually used good scares. But there was a movie that came around because I guess you don't have to do just sequels. You gotta do, everything has to be a fucking multiverse, like cinematic universe. And that's why we have Annabelle. Annabelle is the complete opposite of The Conjuring. Annabelle is the most boring tripe I've ever seen. This movie goes nowhere. It tells the story of a couple who move into a house, and there's the creepy doll, and after weird shit happens, they throw the creepy doll out of the house, or they throw it in the trash, and then they move into another house, and the doll manages to get into the house. And they don't question the fact that the doll made it to the second house. They're like, oh, I remember the scene. The husband tells the wife, oh, that doll looks like the doll you had from the other house. You know, that doll that caused all that problems in our other house. I don't know how it got here. Instead of like grabbing the doll and burning it or throwing it away, they just keep the doll and more things start to happen. Everybody in this movie is stupid. It's movies like this where you start rooting for the villains. You want everybody to die. But this movie just goes so slow and nothing happens. You're like sitting there, it's like, my God, I'm actually contemplating right now like whether or not I should get run over by a car or something, because this movie is doing nothing for me. But number 1 is a movie that came out this year, and it's by far the most idiotic thing I've ever seen, and that movie is The Bye-Bye Man. So The Bye-Bye Man tells a story of a group of college students that move into this house, and they find out that there was a man named the Bye-Bye Man. You can't say his name. You can't say it. You can't think it. That's the slogan of this movie. Don't say it, don't think it, don't say it, don't think it. And here's the thing, like, the characters are like covering their mouths, like, don't say it, don't think it. Bye-Bye Man! Like, who does that? And literally, there's scenes like this in the movie where like, oh, I don't want to say it, I don't want to think it. So, like, if you say his name, he'll appear. And he doesn't do anything. Like, he has this like weird PlayStation 2 dog next to him. And there's scenes that just don't make sense. Like, there's a scene where someone wakes up out of a nightmare, and he sees this, like, guy look like a cloak, and then he wakes up and says, oh, thank God, it was just my creepy cloak that's just hanging in the door. Why would you even have that cloak? Who does he ever wear in the movie? No, he never wears it. It's just very random. The main actress, it's so evident that she doesn't speak English. She's trying to cover up her British accent. It just doesn't work. It's like, oh, what happened? Like, it's like she's trying so hard not to say, what happened? But you want some tea and crumpets? But, you know, she's like trying so hard. And the director also appears in this movie as a gay guy for some reason. I guess he was trying to be diverse, but it just comes off very fruity. Like, there's a scene where he shows up. Mind you, this scene makes no sense. She goes to buy some flowers, and apparently the guy who's selling flowers is the owner of the house. And he goes, oh dear, how can I help you? And he goes, oh, you're the owner of the house. He goes, yes, do you like it? No, it's actually creepy. It's like, oh, you came with 2 fellows, they're very handsome. That scene leads nowhere. That scene was only there so she can tell him that the house is creepy. So there's an absurd scene in this movie where a 6 or 7-year-old walks into, with her dad, to a college party, because, you know, that's what dads do, you know, they take their little girls to college parties, you know, especially when they're 7 years old, to play beer pong. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Like, why? Why is that? Who wrote this? There's a scene at the end where the main character grabs this drawer, which is supposedly cursed, which has the name of the Bye-Bye Man. Instead of burning it or destroying it, he just throws like 10 feet to the side, like, ugh. He just conveniently throws it because the plot asks him to do that, so someone else can find it. The little girl who was playing is the beer pong and the college students. She finds that drawer and she sees the Bye Bye Man's name, the main character. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen this movie, which you shouldn't watch this movie, please don't. The kid kills himself because the only way he can kill the curse is if he kills himself. Because anybody else who knows the name of the Bye Bye Man will think of the name and he will appear. So he kills himself, and the brother, who is the father of the little girl, they both leave. Instead of crying and wondering, or being detained by the police, they're just sitting and driving the car, So, honey, did you see anything weird? This is the father talking to the little girl. Yeah, I saw a drawer. Oh. What did it have? Oh, it had some writing in it. Oh, what did it say? Pretty much so he can know the name of the Bye Bye Man, just because the plot requires him to. So the girl says, Daddy, you know I can't read. It's the most retarded scene I've ever seen in a movie, and that's how the movie ends. Fuck this movie. So, I already took out all my anger. I already took it all the way back to Alien Covenant. People actually went to go see this movie. And people actually like this movie. If you go on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie I think has a 26% score. That's way too high for this movie. Way too high. There's actually, I think probably people got paid to write good reviews. Because I don't think anybody actually sat down and thought, my God, this is scary. My God, this is great writing. Because none of it's good. And it's just, that's what makes this movie the worst I've ever seen. Every single sequence in this movie is convenience. No one acts like a regular human being. Everyone acts like a character that read a script. An actor who read the script and is playing a character who's doing certain things because the script requires him to. Please do not pay to watch this movie. Just I would tell you to just watch a Pauly Shore movie. It makes your life a lot better, man. I've had nightmares. Not because of this movie being scary, but because this movie is so bad. And somehow it got produced. And if you watch interviews with the directors, they just go on and say, oh man, we just wrote, some of the most scary stuff we've ever seen. That was so unique and original. Bitch, you don't know what a scary movie is. So anyway, guys, this was the top 5 worst horror movies of the decade. Stay away from these movies. These movies made me angry. Some of them I had to pay to watch because they're not available in other means. But anyway, guys, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave it on the comment section down below. And make sure to like and subscribe. I'm Vest Guy, and this was Vest Top 5. And I would like to say a direct, sincere, fuck you to the directors of all these movies. And have a nice day.